Hello, my name is Joseph Jacobs, and I'm here to welcome you to the show, Anna Literature. Today, we have one of the best literary analyzers on the planet with us. Here, we have Carl Matthews. So, Carl, are you really the best literary analyzer?
I might be.
Okay, I'm going to read you this poem and name it for me. I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet and so cold.
Modernist literature is a literary expression of the tendencies of modernism, especially high modernism. Modernistic art and literature normally revolved around the idea of individualism, mistrust of the institutions, and disbelief of any absolute truths. Modernism as a literary movement occurred between 1910 and 1945. Its writings are said to be simplistic, short and sweet per se. However, it is meaningful. William Carlos Williams wrote "This Is Just to Say," that's the name of the poem, with a lot of meaning. The moral of the poem could be that you can't trust anyone. Obviously, the writer knows that the person he's talking about quite well, yet he could not trust him with his poems. It could also be a hidden mock to its intended reader. Maybe the person is nice, but he has a bad side and is also cold. This shows a level of contrast in the poem. I remember reading this poem as if I had just read it yesterday. I have eaten. Sweet and so cold.
No!
And that is how our poem works.
What a brilliant recollection, Mr. Matthews. You pretty much put me in your past. But can you analyze this? We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn, bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth without myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting our tears and sighs? Nay, let them see only us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise, we wear the mask.
American realism was an era of literature, music, and art at the end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th century. Art included cultural portrayals and views of city life. Very rarely were the pieces of artwork imaginative. The purpose of the era was to depict such scenes as real as possible. The literature of the era was less creative than that of the Romantic era, but it was far more descriptive. Both the literature and the artwork were focused on representing American life as they entered the new century. This poem, "We Wear the Mask," well, the message is about African Americans and the pain they suffered. They wore masks of happiness and contentment, but were deep down riddled with fear, anger, and sadness. I remember this almost as vivid as the last. How I feel like reading a poem today. Here, read this. How do you do? We wear the mask, it grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. So, Mr. Jacobs, it seems that I have analyzed you that.
Oh really, Mr. Matthews, was that not hard enough for you? How about you analyze me this? I'll tell you a plan for gaining wealth, better than banking, trade, or leases. Take a banknote and fold it up, and then you will find your money increases. This wonderful plan, without danger or loss, keep your cash in your hands where nothing can trouble it, and every time that you fold it across, 'tis as plain as the light of day that you double it.
Oh, this was actually quite difficult because it was written anonymously, but Generally, it's said to be from the Romantic era, and the Romantic era is a complex artistic, literary, and intellectual movement that originated in the second half of the 18th century in Western Europe. It gained strength in reaction to the Industrial Revolution. In part, it was a revolt against aristocratic, social, and political norms of the Age of Enlightenment, and a reaction against the scientific realization of nature. And was embodied most strongly in the visual arts, music, and literature, but had a major impact on historiography, education, and natural history. This poem, Epigram to Wall Street, by Edgar Allan Poe, contains witty and sarcastic puns. Intended to bash Wall Street, Poe, its creator, suggests that instead of investing your money, you should keep it for yourself and fold it, therefore leaving no chance to lose it and cutting your losses.
Oh, no flashback this time, Mr. Matthews?
Oh, actually, I remember this one quite well as well.
Huh? I think you're a wuss. I bet I could beat you in a fight. In fact, I will invest $20 in this bet.
I could beat you in a fight. However, it is not wise to invest your money on such scandalous bets. What I will do is fold my money in half, thus doubling it, and stow it away.
That was quite the flashback, Mr. Matthews. You foiled every one of my attempts to defeat you, until now. Here I hold one of the weapons which I believe, from further eras past, will defeat you. How about you analyze me this? By night, when others soundly slept, and had once both ease and rest, my waking eyes were open kept, and so to lie I found it best. I sought him who my eyes did love, with tears I sought him earnestly. How I bowed his ear down from above, in vain I did not seek or cry. My hunger soul he'd filled with good, he in his bottle put my tears, with smarting wounds washed in his blood, and banished thence my doubts and fears. What to my Savior shall I give, who freely hath done this for me? I'll serve him here whilst I shall live, and lure him to eternity.
This one is tough indeed. You have ranged back far in history. However,